Hi, I'm Tom, amateur radio call sign N8FDY, and today it's another meter review. This time it's the EEVBlog BM786, which is a Bryman meter, but it's branded by the EEVBlog. And here's the meter. See what else we get. We get the nice leads. Let's see if they're yes, gold plated and pretty flexible. We will look at those later. No manual. That's because you have to go to the EEVBlog and download the manual, which I imagine saves on the price a little bit. And it's in the Dave Jones No BS packaging, which is kind of nice. I bought this directly from EEVBlog store, and it was, let me look it up, it was $154.11. Now you could buy it from Amazon in the US. They have it for $199. And the only advantage of doing that is you can get the 30-day return with Amazon. And actually, I ordered one of these through Amazon, and after a week, they couldn't find it. They lost the order, and I told them to give me my money back. And I ordered it from EEVBlog and got it within a week. So I should have did that first, saved money, and it would have got here faster, which is funny because usually Amazon delivers things a lot quicker. But I've noticed lately that I'd say 1 out of 10 of my orders, they end up disappearing. And they tell me they don't know where it is, they can't deliver it. So let's look at the features of this meter. It's third-party safety tested by UL for Canada and United States. It's a 60,000 count meter. It has a 31 segment analog bar graph, updates 50 times a second. It does true RMS AC voltage measurements. It does DC plus AC measurement. It has a hold function, an auto hold function. It has a delta or a relative function. It has a crest or a peak hold function. It has a min-max average function, and it has variable frequency drive voltage and frequency measurements. And it comes with 3 AAA batteries. Let's turn it on, and to bypass the auto shutoff, you can hold down the select key and turn it on. Like all Brymans, this meter remembers what function you're using on each position of the rotary switch. So if you'd switch this to AC plus DC, it'll stay there. When you turn off the meter and come back to this spot, it'll remember that you were there. You do an AC plus DC. Same with capacitance and diode. Right now it's on the diode mode, but if I switch it to capacitance and I turn off the meter and turn it back on, it's still in capacitance mode. If I switch it back to diode mode, turn it off, turn it back on, it's still in diode mode. So it does that in every position of the rotary switch, which is very different than most other meters. Except the, well, it does all Bryman meters And it also does it on the 121 GW meter that EEVBlog sells. So our first voltage is 2.5005 and the meter reads it as 2.5007. That's very close. Our next one is 5.0009, and this reads 5.0013. Again, that's very, very close. The next voltage is 7.5016, and you get 7.503. Now you did notice that it's switched, because this is a 60,000 count meter. Since we went over 6, it moved over 1, so we lost some precision there. This is 10.0015, and it reads it as 10.003. Let's take a look at the other voltages I tested. As you can see, the green means that the reading met the specifications as stated in the manual, and all the voltage readings are green. The input impedance for the DC volts is 11 megaohms, and for the DC millivolts, it's 10 megaohms. Here's 5 volts AC at 100 hertz square wave, and it reads 4.9974. So that's pretty close. And I'm using the DMM check to generate that voltage. Now let's look at some other voltages I tested earlier. All the voltages are green, so they met the specifications as stated in the manual. 3 dB cutoff point is 20.5 kilohertz. So this will work up in the audio range. This meter also can record AC plus DC voltages. As you can see, all the AC plus DC readings met the specifications as stated in the manual. Now let's do some current measurements. Okay, we're using the DMM check to generate a 1 milliamp AC 100 hertz signal, and the meter reads it as 0.999. So that's very close. Now we'll do some DC currents. This is 0.89 microamps, and the meter reads it as 0.89 microamps. Very good. This is 9.21 microamps, and the meter reads it as 9.21. Very good. This is 99.0 microamps, and it reads it as 99.03. This is 131.8 microamps, and the meter reads it as 131.91. This is 1 milliamp, and the meter reads it as 1.003. Oops. The meter reads it as 1.009 milliamps. This is 9.98 milliamps, and the meter reads it as 9.992 milliamps. This is 99.4 milliamps, and the meter reads it as 99.43. You may wonder how I know what these values should be. Well, I'm using a Keithley DMM 6500 that's been calibrated at the beginning of the year, and I use that to measure all these, and that's what I'm using as my source. And it is about 10 times more accurate than most of these meters. Now let's take a look at the rest of the current measurements. As you can see by the green, All the current measurements met the specifications as stated in the manual. The DC microamp range is the most accurate range in this group of meters. The amp shunt resistor measured out at 0.02 ohms. The milliamp shunt resistor measured out at 2.4 ohms. And the microamp shunt resistor measured out at 102.4 ohms. Now it's time for some resistor measurements. The meter's warning me that I've switched to resistor, but I have the leads in the wrong place. So let's put it back where it belongs. Yep, 0.1 ohm. So we use the delta key to zero that out. Now we can do the measurements. This is 1.004 ohms, and it measures out as 1.03. Here's a 10.007 resistor, and it reads 10.02. Here is a 100.069 resistor, and it reads it as 100.10. Here's a 1.0001 kilo ohm resistor, and it reads it as 1.0004 kilo ohm resistor. Here is a 10.002 kilo ohm resistor, and it reads 10.002, right on the button. Here's a 100.02 kilo ohm resistor, and it reads it as 100.07. Here's a 0.997 mega ohm resistor, and it reads it as 0.9953. This is a 9.97 mega ohm resistor, and it reads it as 10.0. Well, it's drifting. Let's take a look at the accuracy of those readings. If you take a look at the green, you can see that all the resistance measurements I made met the specifications as stated in the manual. We can note that the 1 mega ohm reading accuracy is the worst specified of this group of meters, and also this meter cannot read the 100 mega ohm resistor. This meter, it's used 2.27 volts on the low range, 0.19 volts on the high range for measuring resistance. Well, let's measure some capacitance. We have about 10 picofarads stray capacitance on the leads. So let's use the delta function to zero that out. Now in my new protocol for testing, I no longer use the 10 or the 100 picofarad ceramic capacitor because it just always comes out wrong on all meters. So it's just they're not very good at those low values, especially with ceramic capacitors. So if you need to measure that low capacitance, you probably need an LCR meter. This is 1.005 nanofarads, and it's read as 1.04. This is 9.921 nanofarads, and it reads it as 9.97. This is 99.51 nanofarads, and it reads it as 99.8. This is 1.009 microfarads, and it reads it as 1.009, right on the nose. This is 10.294 microfarads, and it reads it as 10.96. This is 112.2 microfarads, and it reads it as 113. This is 944.5 microfarads, and it takes a while to read it. All right, we're going to call it at 997. Let's take a look at the accuracy of these readings. Well, as you can see, all the capacitance measurements met the specification as stated in the manual, And the microfarad range accuracy is the best in this group of meters. It's time to test some diodes. Here's the red LED with the forward voltage. Here's the yellow LED with the forward voltage. Here's the green LED. It's a little dim with the forward voltage. Here is the Schottky diode. And if you noticed, it did a little chirp when it read the forward voltage. So let's let you hear that chirp again. All right, let's see what it does when the diode's shorted. Beep and a blink if the diode's shorted. Here's the small signal diode and the forward voltage. Here is the rectifier diode with the forward voltage. So the LEDs don't cause a chirp, but the regular diodes do. This meter uses 3.166 volts and a current up to 511 microamps. That's probably why the LEDs were a little dim. Well, it's time to test continuity. And to be fair to all the meters, we're going to use probe master probes to test continuity. It latches and it also blinks the backlight. And it goes pretty fast and it blinks the backlight. Very nice. Now, this meter came with some nice probes. So we will test those too. Just because I'd say it's, for the price of the meter, getting these better probes is pretty nice. They aren't as flexible as the Probe Masters, but they're definitely more flexible than the old plastic ones. Now these have a adapter on them to plug into a banana plug. So let's take that off. All right, let's try. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty fast. And they're, yep, gold plated, and even the banana plugs are gold plated. You do notice that sometimes when I touch the lead, it beeps. Now that's a mysterious thing with this meter, is sometimes stray voltage will make it, but not, you can't really do it all the time. The best way to do it is on a metal table, but it's not really a big problem, at least not for me. So, A-OK on the leads. You don't need to buy any new ones. Unless you're a Probe Master fanboy, then you will. Let's take a look at how the accuracy of this meter stacks up to the group. Well, looking at the voltage and current, I would say that this meter is second to last place in accuracy specifications. It's definitely better, and it's identical to the Bryman BM789. The advantage to the 789 is that it has a decibel reading, and it has a much higher minus 3 dB cutoff on the AC measurements. And but you know, that's a $25 jump in price to get those. And it doesn't have the cool EEVBlog logo on it. Resistance and capacitance, it's, again, it kind of, well, it comes out a little better than the Unity does in the resistance and capacitive area. So, you know, it's still kind of second to last, but it's way better accuracy than 6,000 count meters. There's no logging with this meter, so you don't have to worry about that, and it's definitely for meter for people who don't need logging. The battery compartment is a little unusual. The batteries are actually held in the compartment. You take it out, and there you see those. And then the fuses, unfortunately, you have to take the whole meter apart to get to the fuses. And there's what the fuses look like. All right, let's get to the pros and cons of this meter. Well, the good part, it's third-party safety tested by UL for the US and Canada. It's the lowest cost 50,000 count meter I've found. All measurements taken met the accuracy specifications in the manual. It has one of the best microamp accuracy specifications. It has the best low microfarad accuracy specifications. And it's one of the smallest meters that have 50,000 count. So, some of the things that aren't so good, it has the lowest 3 dB cutoff of all the meters in this range. It has the worst AC volts accuracy specification in this range of meters. Has the worst AC plus DC volt accuracy specifications in this range of meters. It has the worst low mega ohm accuracy in these meters. And you have to disassemble it to change the fuses. Well, my conclusion. Well, wrapping this up, I like this meter. I like the BM789 a little better, but of course that costs more, and you have to buy that from Germany. But if you want to get this from Amazon for $200 and have the 30-day return option, or if you want to buy it directly from EEVBlog and save $50, this is definitely a great entry-level 50,000 count meter. It gives you more accuracy than a 6,000 count meter in most cases, and it really works well. And if you want a lighter, a little smaller meter, and you know it's lighter and smaller than those 10,000 count meters we reviewed from Bryman, and it's a pretty good meter. I would say that if you're a beginner who's just starting out and you want to do the electronic projects, so you need the microamps, milliamps, and you need millivolts, and you need some accurate voltages, and you're going to test some capacitors, this is a pretty good meter. So I can recommend this if you can afford it. So I hope this helps your decisions. Remember, there's a written review with all the details. There's a link in the description. And we'll see you again at the next review. This is Tom, N8FDY, saying 73, and take it easy.